let's take a look at what has been done, at least what we know has been done. The Rangers haven't announced all this, but here's what you have working right now and what the Rangers have done. The veterans, Jeff, that they have added this offseason. And it's interesting, and a lot of it, as you see, addresses specific needs. A couple of them at catcher. Is Higashioka even on that?
Yeah, he's on there. He's
okay, good, yeah.
Oh, what was the old game? Hollywood Squares. He'd be.
Yeah.
I don't know if Robert Garcia deserves the center square.
Yeah, Robert Garcia.
He's usually a big time guy.
Yeah, I got Kyle there. Yeah, so I love that. That's the Brady Bunch or the Hollywood Squares, and that's fantastic. And that's all veteran guys, Jeff. And it's interesting. A lot of them are bullpen pieces, and. Yeah. I think you're right. It's interesting that when they say we're raising the floor, you're right. The Walt Penningtons of the world, the Jake Latzes of the world were the floor last year. So now the floor is raised. So if you want to be on the floor, right, or above the floor, right, you've got to raise your level. You've got to raise your game. And there's nothing that's bad about competition. Even if these are, in some cases, especially if they get a 39-year-old Chris Martin, right? These are veterans, aging veterans. But, hey, if they can push these young guys to be the very best they can be, that's fantastic. It's a win-win for the Rangers, who also, in all these different bullpen scenarios, just haven't had to spend much money yet.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing. Somebody told me at the end of last season, toward the end of last season, that the pro scouts had been told, go out there and find a way to build a cheap bullpen. And, I think everybody, teams don't want to, have a $90 million bullpen.
Right.
Everybody wants to do it affordably, but, when you think cheap, you're kind of thinking, oh, they must be looking for young guys or some minor leaguers who are getting just on the verge, but they found some veteran guys who their profiles fit and make them better against left-handers. And so anyway, and like the trade with Nate Lowe for Garcia, that is an affordable young guy, but the two of those 9 are guys coming to the camp on minor league deals. Adrian Hauser, who is a veteran guy who's been a starter. He pitched for the Mets last year, pitched for the Brewers, and has been good. And then the catcher on there, Tucker Barnhart.
Yeah,
he becomes a legitimate guy because Sam Huff was designated for assignment to make room for Armstrong. Now Sam could clear waivers, and if he does, he gets assigned outright to AAA, and he's off the 40 man, and he still has an opportunity to make the club stay with the organization. And, personally, I hope that's what happens because I love the guy. But he's also a guy who could, the old change of scenery, the type of situation. Yep. I just want I want the best for that guy. But those are 2 other guys that you got to pay attention to because they're going to have a chance. They really are.
Yeah, you've got to definitely – you root for that guy. I do too because he's a great kid and I hope he makes it somewhere. And I hope that also – and I'm sure this happened – that the Rangers probably said to him 2 days before Christmas or whenever they were letting him know or letting his agent know that he was DFA'd, hey, you have every chance still to make this team. We just need this spot on the 40-man roster.
Yeah, and that's kind of where this is how much better the roster has gotten.
Yep.
Owen White got designated first.
Yeah.
Now this is a guy who was a top 100 prospect in baseball not long ago. Sam Huff is a guy who's been a prospect for a long time. I know he ran out of rookie eligibility, but the hope has been that this guy, could figure it out. Unbelievable power, and but they're not. The Rangers aren't in a position anymore to carry these guys. And right. So you wonder, and it's really strange because you would have thought if you just looked at the 40-man roster, well, who's a DFA candidate? Oh, well, Gerson Garabito is. but Gerson Garabito, who's the ultimate in journeyman and another good story, but the Rangers valued him more than Owen White or thought they could get. Maybe they think they can get Owen White through waivers. I don't know. It's kind of telling that this is where they're at now. These guys who big parts of the future, it's what, fish or cut bait.
Yeah, I like that. And by the way, it's a roster that a year ago, even with all these guys on it, we still thought had a pretty legitimate shot at competing for another World Series, right? And they've improved it that much. So that means they've improved the team a lot. And that is fantastic, because the reality is we thought they were really good last year. They're even better this year. And again, if these guys can raise that level, it does nothing but help the team and increase those chances.
Yeah. And, you got to have these optionable guys,
Yeah.
So these guys who are coming in, these veterans who are coming in on 1-year major league deals, but you have to have optionable pieces. You got to, because we all know that, if you have a game where you use 7 relievers, well, by God, the next day somebody's coming up from the minor leagues and somebody's going down.
Yeah.
So they have to. That's part of the depth, and it would be great to see. Like I said, at least I still think 2 more arms are a coming, and then again that raises the floor even more, and then you get to the point where it's like, well, gosh, could Dane Dunning start in the minor leagues? Could Cody Bradford start in the minor leagues? So it gets
both of whom have options, Jeff. Do they both have options?
They do. Yeah.
So
it's an interesting time, but then you're like, well, geez, Shawn Armstrong didn't pitch for crap last year, so
right.
It seems like he would have to make the roster, but that's an expensive cut, at the end of spring training. So we'll see what happens.
We all silly like the mayor.